Good morning, kids. Today we're checking out a brand new video from Konyex about the entire DNA evolution lines of the Digimon Royal Knights. Let's hop in and, well, see what can be told.
So this month, the Digimon card game set versus Royal Knights is coming out. Street dates sure do work. A lot of you since my
Nice.
Dark Masters video have been requesting me to talk about the full Digivolution lines for the Royal Knights. And much like that video,
cool.
for a lot of the Royal Knights, we do have Digivolution lines or branches that are already pretty canonized, already reasonably well done. But something that surprised me with the Dark Masters video is that you still enjoyed it, you still wanted to know. Not just me coming up with evolution ideas, but also established evolutions that Bandai Namco and Toei have made for these Digimon. So
I mean, it's just like pulling up a history book to find out what events led to what. And I mean, we know already of the events, but sometimes it's good to hear them again.
enjoy your Digivolution ASMR as I cover the canonical and my own personally cobbled together versions of Royal Knights Digivolution lines.
Ooh. Canon and fanon. Now this is gonna be interesting.
What is up, digital companions? My name is KhanEX and welcome back to another video, and yes, today we are going to be exploring the Digivolution lines of the Royal Knights. Now of course Digivolution is also branching, but it's undeniably the fact that especially anime partners, but even non-anime partners, definitely have curated through lines. This is happening still very recently. For example, in Digimon Seekers, Commandramon goes to High Commandramon to Cargodramon and Brigadamon. That's one intentionally designed line, but of course it could also branch at any point. And that's what we're talking about here. So beginning with Omnimon or Omegamon, it's pretty clear he actually has two Digivolution lines converging into one. Obviously, if you've seen basically any Digimon media for the last 25 years-ish, happy 26th birthday by the way, Digimon, you'll know that Omnimon is comprised of War Greymon and Metal Garurumon. So one half of him is War Greymon to Metal Greymon to Greymon and Agumon, and the other half of him is Metal Garurumon to Were Garurumon to Garurumon and Gabumon. Someone didn't know that and you're watching my videos. Welcome. You're all welcome here. Then we move over to Magnamon, and obviously the most likely scenario is that Magnamon is a
And yes, welcome to all of you as well for joining me and Conan today.
Golden Armor Digivolution, or Vmon, just like it is in Hurricane Touchdown and Digimon Adventure 02. Magnamon is considered to be the power level of a Mega, even though it technically isn't the Mega level, in some ways making Golden Armor Digivolution almost like Warp Armor Digivolution, but for the purposes of the Royal Knights, he's treated like a Mega, which could also
I guess it is kind of like Warp Digivolution. It's going from one state into a hyper-advanced state. It's kind of like Biomerging. Okay, no, not Biomerging, literally Warp Digivolution from the first series. Is not the thought.
That he could have a Digivolution line. Magnamon has digivolved from Gold Vidramon before in things like the Vital Bracelet, so that would make sense to me. The champion could be any Golden Digimon, honestly, or it could just be X-Vmon and then finally Vmon. Future Khan here, I want to jump in because I know one of you's gonna actually mean Gold Vidramon, because it is technically a Golden Armor Digivolution, also does not have a fixed level, so it's used as an ultimate in the Vital Bracelet, but I also do know that it is used as a champion, a level 4 in things like the card game. Both are correct. Thank you very much. But again, while we are talking about through lines today, I think this Magnamon is pretty clearly just Vmon, Golden Armor Digivolving. Gallantmon, again, a very simple one.
Hold on, folks. I'll be right back. And we're back.
Coming from War Growlmon, and Guilmon. I do think the Royal Knight Gallantmon does still have the potential to become Megidramon. He is still a digital hazard after all, and maybe even Chaos Gallantmon. Alright, our first one on this video.
Actually, I could see him becoming the Magnadramon if he's like brought to the edge of oblivion with anger. And he just lets go, like the armor starts to crack and break apart, revealing the Magnadramon inside. Now that would make it an awesome comic.
Does not have a completely canonical, always used evolution. Dynasmon. He is a Wyvern, and of course has digivolved in the franchise before, but his most common pre-evolution actually surprised me, and that is Mistymon. Happening a lot of times across various cards, and notably in Digimon Masters and Soul Chaser. Other considerations for pre-evolutions for Dynasmon that have happened before are Sylphimon, Wingdramon, and Aerovidramon. Aerovidramon naturally I'm keeping for all 4, so is off the table, and similarly Wingdramon does show up in the very cemented evos of another Royal Knight. Sylphimon I actually kind of like. There's something fun about Sylphimon becoming Dynasmon. But I think Dynasmon digivolving from Mistymon turns this into a sort of...
It seems like it would be a bit of a stretch in my opinion, but hey, it's your video.
of Dungeons and Dragons feel, a mystical journey Digivolution branch of Wizards and Dragons. But then it's pretty straightforward. Mistymon would Digivolve from Wizardmon, adding a little bit more of that Witchelney element to the Royal Knights, which is always
Oh yeah.
appreciated, especially as we consider that medieval Gallantmon, the counterpart, the alternative being to regular Gallantmon, is also parading around Witchelney. The rookie then you could go for very standard Wizardmon prevos. Inkmon,
Candlemon.
Candlemon would work. However, as we don't have this full through line for Dynasmon cemented really, I would personally make the rookie Rurimon, a fusion of magic and dinosaur or dragon elements. Now yes, this is one of those Digimon that I talked about in my Digimon We're Likely Never to See Again video, because
That actually makes a whole lot of sense. It's a dinosaur that studies magic, then becomes a being of magic before becoming a warrior of magic, then turning back to his draconic roots to create the Dynasmon we all know. There you go, Khan. Now that's a good idea.
it was made for a fan specifically, although the fans do not own the copyright, so we definitely could see Rurimon again, and I just think it works so well. Explaining it that data is variable and changeable. Sometimes you do see elements of a Digimon disappear through its evolutions and then resurface at Mega. So Rurimon being a little magic dinosaur or magic dragon, going to Wizardmon, then Mistymon, and then ending up as another Wyvern Dragon Royal Knight, bookends the evolution line really nicely in my opinion. Lord
Exactly
Nightmon,
what I
fairly
said.
obvious, would Digivolve from Nightmon. Lord Nightmon is the Lord of Nightmons, or the Crusader Mon. Nightmon's most common pre-evolution then would be Gladymon, and finally the rookie Kotemon. This is a very popular line. I believe this is also used in Digimon New Century, and you see from Kotemon using training swords to Gladymon using fencing foils, Nightmon having the big sword, and then Lord Nightmon being a royal knight, that the evolution branch is getting better and better at combat as it goes on and becoming more knightly as it goes on. Though another rookie choice that I really would like in place of Kotemon would be Pawn Chessmon White. It visually is a lot more similar to Gladymon, and while it's a pawn, it does kind of also look knightly. So Pawn Chessmon White or Kotemon I think look great in this evolution line for Lord Nightmon. Ulforce Vidramon. Gee,
Nah, I gotta give it to Kotemon. Kotemon's definitely taking the rookie spot in that line.
Wonder what he digivolves from. Yeah, it's going to be Aero Vidramon and then Vidramon. Part of me has always kind of assumed that the Ulforce Vidramon in the Royal Knights is actually specifically supposed to be the V-Tamers Zero Maru, but I don't know if there's actually any canon backing that up. However, you may assume that the rookie would be Vmon, because of course Vidramon and Aero Vidramon are very much the second or alternate evolution line for Vmon, but it's actually intimated in V-Tamer that Zero Maru's rookie was actually an Agumon, and this is supported even to this day in things like the card game. So to me that shakes things up a bit. Agumon to Vidramon to Aero Vidramon and finally Ulforce. Alphamon.
That's actually kind of an interesting take, but I'll take it.
Dorugamon, and Dorumon. Though I do think specifically the Royal Knights Alphamon could also have Grademon as its ultimate. Grademon is an incredibly common Alphamon prevo, and is slightly more knightly than the more draconic Doruguremon. Honestly think it would be really neat to see Grademon coming from something like the Zubamon family as an alternative take on Alphamon, focusing more on the knightly side than the dragon fluffy boy side. Grademon is also a natural carrier of the X antibody, so it
need more knights, not more dragons.
Doesn't really invalidate that whole element of Alphamon's existence, so yeah, Grademon, Doruguremon, whichever you prefer. Or both. We love branches here. Kentorusmon, again, fairly simple. Very clearly supposed to digivolve from Kirinmon, then Repamon, the original design of Kudamon, though of course both are fine and pretty interchangeable. I do think it'd be cool though if we saw like an alternative Royal Knight made up of all the Royal Knights' alternative forms or slide evos, etc. You know, a Royal Knights with Alter S instead of Omnimon, Medieval Gallantmon instead of Gallantmon, Audiumon instead of Alphamon, and Mitamamon from Digimon Re-Arise instead of Kentorusmon. Is that a good video idea? Do you want to see that? If you want to see my ideas of the Royal Knights alternative beings, let me know in the comments down below. Duftmon is another one that doesn't really have a ton of
Hold on, folks, and we're back.
Cemented prevos. Grapleomon is a very common pre-evolution, including in Hacker's Memory for Duftmon. And while yes, Grapleomon is not a leopard, it is a Leomon. Leopard. Anyway, yeah, then we'd go to Leomon and finally Lyolmon. But I do think Gazimon would be a great Duftmon prevo too. Some other Digimon in consideration are Nightmon, which has happened a bunch, but I just much prefer Nightmon for Lord Nightmon instead of Duftmon. Wegarurumon and Wegarurumon Black I think are totally valid, and Beowulfmon would be interesting. But Grapleomon has happened enough times in the franchise, and I can definitely see how the two could be linked again because of that Leopard.
Other than them sharing Leo, I don't see it. I mean, this guy is literally called Grappler Leomon or whatever it is. So he's all about using fist. But look at this guy. Hey, he's slender, sleek, more of an agile build. Well, he would be fast strikes, not long holds outs. Well, so it would need to be something and with more speed, with maybe a sword. Probably doesn't need a sword, just needs speed. It's gotta be Sonic. Moving on.
Vibe, and their blonde-ish hair. Although I'd say Grappleomon is probably a little bit more strawberry blonde / ginger. Craniamon is another member of the Royal Knights that maddeningly has never been given a full Digivolution line, and much like his fellow members of the Royal Knights, Duftmon and Lord Nightmon, his most common Prevo is actually Nightmon. I guess
Really?
Digimon just said, well, Nightmon for the Royal Knights. The next most common evolution, though, is one that is no surprise.
So, what are we gonna do? These Digimon don't have a pre-evolution. And make it Nightmon. I'm joking. I'm just making jokes. But yeah, they really did they just said, and throw in Nightmon. Does it even matter? Throw him in. And just, wow. Okay.
And that is Andromon, happening as recently as in the card game, but also in Digimon Crusader, Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory, Lynx, and Rear Eyes. And yeah, I'm really happy with Andromon for Craniamon. Between High Andromon and Craniamon, I'm quite a fan of Craniamon being the evolution for Andromon. Champion could be Gardramon or Mechanorimon, but I think Mechanorimon works a little bit better coming down from Andromon, and then Haguramon as the rookie. I do sometimes see people say that Craniamon's Prevo should be something more skullish or demonic, like Skull Satamon, and I don't disagree. However,
what about Skull Nightmon? Is that a Digimon? Or Black Nightmon? I don't know, something and more evil looking.
Skull feeling coming from Andromon is very much there. Andromon's headpiece and shoulders are literally metallic skulls, so it definitely fits. Examon, interestingly very similar to Omnimon, is pretty much designated as a fusion of two Digivolution lines, or really more a Digimon that branches and then comes back together, as a Breakdramon and Slayerdramon Jogress. The Breakdramon half digivolves from Grounddramon, then Cordramon Green, and finally Dracomon, and the Slayerdramon half comes from Wingdramon to Cordramon Blue, and finally Dracomon. Which is also why I didn't want to use Wingdramon in the Dynasmon segment. It's very clearly part of the two Prevos of Examon.
Oop. Hold on, folks. We'll be right back. And we're back. There we go.
Our last straightforward one comes from Savior Huck or Hackmon, Bow Hackmon, and Hackmon. Love this evolution line, love everything about it, love Jessmon X, Jessmon GX, and want to see more of all the Hackmon evolutions in future. Which finally brings us to the Royal Knight that honestly surprises me has never been cemented a Digivolution line, Gankumon. It's super wild we've never seen a direct curated Prevo for this guy, just like Jessmon has, as Gankumon and Jessmon are the later additions to the Royal Knights and counterparts in many ways. Something like Aegiacusmon would be so great for Gankumon, but of course that is heavily associated with Jupitermon and the Olympus 12. We do, however, have Prevos of existing Digimon that have happened before in the franchise that I really see the appeal of. First is Death Meramon. It's a humanoid with spiky hair and a flaming aura, which really appeals to me as being the beginning of what would eventually be Gankumon's Hinu Kamui, his fighting aura. Another really common one is Superstarmon, which is such a great Digimon, and I can actually definitely see a weird visual match between it and Gankumon. Plus, they're both big champions for justice. Superstarmon is also one of my
but I see it.
Favorite pre-evolutions for Justimon. And another outlier that has never happened, but I see great merit in, and so do many people in the fandom, is Gokumon, creating a kind of Journey to the West themed evolution. And Gokumon is said to have been born from boiling magma, which again could totally be setting up Hinu Kamui. Plus Gokumon, Gankumon, it's similar. So I have settled on that. Gankumon coming from Gokumon, then Hanumon, and the rookie Monmon. This creates a slightly unexpected monkey-like line for Gankumon, almost feeling not just like Digivolution, but also IRL evolution in some ways. Although I know that we didn't literally evolve from monkeys, it was a common ancestor, but you get the point. The only thing I don't like is that Monmon, Hanumon, and Gokumon all have weapons, but Gankumon himself does not. But I do like the evolution of those Digimon.
Technically he has his fist and the aura, so he has a weapon, just not a weapon.
Mon using a rudimentary slingshot, Hanumon a basic bone club, and then transitioning to Gokumon's more deliberately crafted staff. And then, yeah, Gankumon kind of focuses on fists. Except that's actually not true. Gankumon's reference book listing refers to its Chibudai Gaishi, where it appends the ground as if it were a Chibudai, a Japanese table, and the ground being treated like a Chibudai becomes as hard as if it was made of chrome Digizoid. This refers to the upending of Japanese tables, often used as a metaphor. To upend the tea table is to upset or disturb the status quo, and literally did or does happen, even getting an arcade game where the entire focus of the game is to flip the tea table. Hilarious. I would love to play that one day. So Gankumon does use weaponry in some ways. Also, if we look at Gankumon X, it takes off its footwear to use as weaponry. It's wooden footwear. Again, adding extra context that maybe by assimilating the X antibody, this Gankumon line has kind of chosen to revert back to what it knew in previous evolutions. The more bestial basic nature we see in its Monmon, Hanumon, and Gokumon of using rudimentary or at least simplistic weaponry. Slingshots, clubs, poles, tables, and wooden clogs. And that's it. Existing, very cemented Digivolution lines for the Royal Knights, and also some ones that I have kind of crafted or curated. Of course, there are the ones that I have curated, even the ones that are very established, they're far from objective, and Digivolution does branch. But I'd love to hear your more unique, slightly out there ideas for the Royal Knights. And thank you so much for watching that Dark Masters video, by the way. Got over 100,000 views, and all the comments telling me you did want to hear about existing Digivolution lines, not just ones that I came up with. That's super nice because I love talking about the entire franchise of Digimon, so hopefully I've at least repeated that information in an interesting way, giving you something to relax and study to. Or maybe if you're just dipping your toes into the Digimon franchise or aren't super familiar with the Royal Knights, this has caught you up to speed in a slightly timely manner. Thank you to my sovereigns, ZDK14 and Jmon. It's Elementary is no longer able to be a sovereign because he's having a baby. Congratulations, It's Elementary. Thank you so much for all your support so far. I endlessly appreciate it, but of course your baby is more important than silly old Digimon videos on the internet. Thank you to my Digi-Destined, my Tamers, my Khan Club, and all of you for watching. Make sure you watch this other video that's on screen right now, or this playlist. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time when we go digital.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Well, folks, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.